Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to draft and cut this beautiful halter neck backless on the bust corset. If this is something you're interested to learn, want to keep on watching, and let's get started. If you're yet to subscribe, kindly hit on the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I upload new video. So guys, ensure your pattern paper is on a fold. Come down by your bust point, come down by your underbust, come down by your waistline, and determine the length you want for your blouse. So the length I want for this blouse is 23 inch. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side here, and I'll go ahead and extend. I will extend those lines using my stretch ruler like so, and after that I'll go ahead and label. I'll label the first line as my bust point, second line under bust, waistline, and the full length. From the bust point line I went up by 2 inch. This will also serve as my chest line. After making my point, I'm going to rule out a straight line and I'll label as well. I'm going to cut the excess I have on the down part. After that, I'll mark half of my shoulder measurement. I'll do the same thing on the chest line. Then I'll connect the 2 points to give me a straight line, okay, for the armhole. The next thing I did was to label as shoulder line. So I'm going to also make my armhole curve using my pencil, just like so. After that, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope, and I'll mark 3 inch for neck width. So I'll place my ruler, I'll place my straight ruler like so, then I'll connect my shoulder slope to the neck width, just like so, okay? After that, I'll mark half of my nipple to nipple, which is 3.5. My nipple to nipple is 7 inch. Divided by 2 will give me 3.5. I went ahead to mark. I marked this on the chest line, bust point, under bust, waistline, and full length, and I'll connect all those dots to give me a straight line using my straight ruler. On the underbust, I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. I'll also mark 1 inch on both sides of the waistline. I'll do the same thing on the full length. So I marked 1 inch on both sides of the underbust, of the waistline, and the full length, and I'll connect a straight line using my pencil like so. After doing that, from the bust point line, I'm going to make my curve. I'll place my curve rule like so, then I'll make my curve using my curve rule. You can see how I placed it. You place your curve rule like so, or you can achieve this using your free hand. Go ahead and make your curve from the bust point to your under bust. So I'll use my marker to outline this line so it's very visible for everyone to see. Okay, so after I was done with the next thing I want to do is to impute my measurement. I'll mark quarter of my bust measurement on the chest line. Then I'll also mark 1.5 inch for my seam allowance. There's no dart there. On the waistline, I'll mark quarter of my waist measurement. I'll also replace the 2 inch for the dart intake, and I'll add extra 1.5 inch for my seam allowance. On the full length, I'll mark quarter of my hip measurement. I'll replace the 2 inch for the dart intake and also 1.5 inch for my seam allowance. You can also mark 1 inch if you want. So from the chest line, I'm going to connect to the waistline, and I'll use my curve rule to connect from the waistline to the full length of my blouse, okay, to give me my hip curve, just like so. So now that I'm done with this, next thing I want to do is to snatch the waist. So to snatch the waist, I don't need it to be very snatched. So I'll quickly just come in by 1 inch on the waistline. Okay, so I came in by 1 inch on the waistline. After that, I'll use my marker to connect from the chest line to the waistline. Okay, at the point I marked 1 inch, then I'm going to connect from that point to this line, to the hip line, just like so. Can you see? So now that I'm done with that, the next thing I want to do is to come up by 2 inch from the hemline. I went up by 2 inch, and I will place my curve like so to connect my curve. Okay, I wanted to have curve at the down part, so I just did it like so. Next thing is to determine how deep you want your neckline to be. So I want to make use of 10 inch. You can choose below the underbust or above the underbust. So for me, I marked 10 inch, okay? And from the 10 inch, I went in by half inch, okay? From the center front where you marked your neck depth, just go in by half inch. And from the neck width, connect a V shape from the neck width to that point, just like this. Can you see? This is what you will have after you're done. So from that point, you're going to place your curve like so. Then you make your curve, okay? You're going to connect your cup like so. You connect your cup just this way, like we normally do when drafting a corset. Do you get? So to get the other cup, you're going to mark half of your nipple to nipple plus extra 1.5. So 3.5 plus 1.5 gave me 5 inch. I went ahead to mark just like so. So after marking, the next thing I did was to place my curve like so. I'm going to connect from that point to the underbust, okay, just like so. So after connecting on the chest line, I went up by half inch, and I'm going to connect from that point to the armhole depth, the armhole line. After that, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch, like from the bust point I came down by 1.5 inch for my bust dart. And after that, on the neck width side, I marked 2 inch, okay, from the shoulder where I marked my neck width, I came in by 2 inch. So I'm going to make a curve. So you connect your curve like so. You connect it to the point you marked your half an inch, okay. Connect it to this new chest line. It's supposed to be tight on the armhole, okay. So me going up by half an inch, it simply means I have 7 inch left for the armhole depth, and that's normal. So the next thing I want to do now is to shade the parts I'm going to be cutting out, and also cut out the side. You get. So we are done with the drafting of the front. You can see it's very simple and it's very easy. This tutorial is very simple and is also a beginners friendly. If you have watched to this point, kindly hit on the subscribe button. If you understand this very well, kindly appreciate me by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Just in case you are yet to subscribe, I don't know what you're waiting for though, but you should subscribe because it's worth subscribing. Do you get? So getting to that was that I closed up my dart. So after closing, you would notice I had to reconnect. Do you get? You connect that cup like so. So when you connect it, you cut it out. Okay, you cut it out, and after cutting you will have it looking like this. Okay, you have it looking like this after you're done cutting. So I'll label as center front and side front, and also label as the cup, give directions on how to join them as well. Okay, so we're going to draft the back. The back is very simple. Simply come down by your chest line, come down by your waistline and the length of your blouse. Mine was 23 inch for the length. After making my dot, I'm going to extend, I'll extend a straight line like so. Then I'll also go ahead and label so you don't get confused. After that, I cut out the excess I have on the down part. So the next thing I want to do is to mark half of my shoulder measurement. We are not needing it, but it's for a guide, okay, especially at the front. So after that, you're going to make your armhole curve like so. And I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope. I'll roughly connect my shoulder slope like so because I didn't mark neck width. That is because it's not necessary. This is back piece. Do you get? It's back pattern, I mean to say. So the next thing I did was to mark half of my nipple to nipple, which is 3.5, and on the waistline I will subtract half inch on both sides. Then I'll also do the same thing on the full length of the blouse. From the chest line, I came down by 1.5 inch, and I'm going to connect like so. So this will serve as our normal dart intake. After that, I'm going to include my measurement, quarter of my bust measurement plus 1.5 inch seam allowance. There is no dart there. At the waistline, I'll mark quarter of the waist measurement. Replace your dart plus 1.5 inch seam allowance. At the hip line, you will mark quarter of your hip measurement. Replace the dart plus your seam allowance. Okay. I'm going to connect like so. After I was done, you connect from the chest line to the waistline using your stretch ruler. And when you get to the waistline, you connect from the waistline to your hip using your curve rule. So on the waistline, I went in by 1 inch, okay, just like you did on the at the front pattern. Like while drafting the front pattern, remember we came in by 1 inch, okay. So this will serve as my waist inching, okay. You can use whatever inch you want for your waist inching, 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch. It depends on what you want. You get. So from the hemline, I went up by 2 inch, and I went ahead to connect like so. Can you see? So now that I'm done with this, next thing I want to do is to go up by half an inch on the chest line, just like we did on the front piece at the front pattern. So on the chest line again, I came down by half an inch, okay. This will make the lacing bar relax very well after lacing the back. Do you get? That was the reason why I came down by half inch from the chest line. You guys, I went ahead to connect like so. So after that, I'm going to mark 3 inch. This is how open I want it to be. You can mark 2 inch, okay. Remember, if your pattern is on a fold, when you open it up, you will have 4 inch already removed. That is if you mark 2 inch. But since I marked 3 inch, I'll have um 6 inch already removed. You get. So what I did next was to place my side front on the waistline like so. Then I want to note the armhole, where the armhole stopped for the front. Okay, so remember we took out 1.5 inch for bust dart, so that's the excess you see me removing here. You get. So the next thing I did was to, connect it on the other side of the neckline. Then I went ahead to cut it out. The dot I mark is where my lesson bar will be sitting, and you can see I now have everything on equal length and equal size. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you.